touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Better late than never. We're getting into it a little bit later than usual on these Tuesday nights. But here we go with another ARCA Bridge to Cup doubleheader here tonight. And it'll start out with the ARCA Alpha division here in Texas for the Wild West 100. Starting on the front row, you've got Santi Messi and Mark Walker, followed by Kyle Ottawa and Stephen Miller. Montana Holyfield with Caden Unge, Jonathan Sheridan with Wormy Wormington, Sebastian Galloway Jr. alongside Kyle Chestnut, Matthew Hubert and Jimmy West, Matthew Hill and Sarah Robert. Then you have Mitchell Carter and the 06 there of Dale Bush. 33, Scorpio and Timothy Buchanan, Miko Kunez and Taylor Cording, Philip Manning alongside Tyler McCarroll, Barry Earwall and Marcus Shields Kelly, Chasey Plays and Cassie Perkins, Jeremiah Pate and Astro Atlas, Paul Valenzuela with Daniel Voiles, Lenora Hathaway and Blake Williams, Alex Prime and Derek Hipcam deep in the field, with Milano Grimm and Jeff Bolton rounding out the lineup here today. 67 laps the distance, 100 miles in total here. This ARCA championship, like we've mentioned before, very different, very unique, where the combined points tallies between the Alpha and the Delta are constantly changing. Rolling into tonight, your front row of Mark Walker and Santi Messi are pretty deep in the points, so they're looking for a good race here tonight. Santi Messi 53rd overall, so it goes to show you just how many spots are up for grabs here in the ARCA division. It's a very convoluted concept for sure. But Santi Messi, 53rd in the points. He could potentially catapult himself up 25-plus spots in the points with a race win. Right there in second, that is the 80 of Kyle Ottawa. And amongst the highest in the point standings is the 24 there of Montana Holyfield. She currently sits 8th in the points. Other than that, you got Marcus Shields Kelly, who sits 2nd overall. And of course, we are having more of our technological difficulties as usual, but quick and easy fix. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful day here on this Tuesday, March 31st. Had to come home, take care of some chores, and now we're off and rolling for probably a good 2.5 hour block of racing here tonight. Bridge to Cup to follow shortly after this one. A few drivers doing double duty that we've seen between ARCA and trucks and Bridge to Cup. Here tonight, you've got the 39 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. doing the double duty. He's going to be here in the ARCA race and then follow that up with the Bridge to Cup race later this evening, where we're going to be running at Homestead for the Palm Tree Perfect 225, 150 laps the distance there at Homestead. Currently, he's got a good top 10 run going here at Texas. But at the moment, no one has anything for Santi Messi, as he's building a pretty sizable gap here to Montana Holyfield. She's starting to close that gap, though. Santi Messi, no stranger to victory lane here in the ARCA series. We've seen him take home the victories before. Actually, rolling into this season, he was one of only 2 drivers in the ARCA Alpha division that had a win to his name. So just about everyone else seeking their first career wins in the ARCA side of things. Look at that, Montana Holyfield closing very tightly up to the front here. She's going to have a shot at the lead here. Here she goes. She's going to try to do the slingshot maneuver as Santi Messi leads the way on lap 7. And here comes the 24 Roadrunner. She's got a good run going. Gets side by side for the lead, and she's going to charge down the backstretch to take full advantage of the lead. Moving into third, that's Sheridan, and also Caden Unji in the top 5 there, having a good run. Now it's on. Game on for Santi Messi and Montana Holyfield, as this is only going to make Santi Messi a little bit more aggravated. He'll be pushing the envelope here. 67 laps the distance. There should not need to be any pit stops here today, but just for checking, it says 66 laps the distance. So, and we've seen that with the ARCA series where they'll pit on the last lap. We don't want that to happen. So if we do not get a caution for cause, we will throw a midway caution, just so that these ARCA cars have a mandatory pit stop, that they can kind of settle this without any wonky pit scenarios unfolding like we've seen so many times already this year, and most particularly at these mile-and-a-half tracks. So there we go, Santi Messi on the attack here. She's going to fight back on the outside. Good run from Montana Holyfield. Side by side, they drag race. This may help close the others up on their back bumper. There is a wreck. We will go ahead and skim back here and watch a replay. 3 wide, that is the 85 of Tyler McCarroll. Still stuck on the high side, 3 wide there. And he gets turned by Jeff Bolton. Bam, hard hit. Goes for a spin down the backstretch and does not spin it completely around, which keeps the race from going to a caution here. But a hard break for Tyler McCarroll. Uh-oh, what happened to Montana Holyfield? Good run here from the 5 of Santi Messi. And she's stuck up on that high side. She just loses the ground and then falls even further back. So, new second place driver, that's the 89 of Wormington. And for leading at a brief point in time there, unfortunately, Montana Holyfield drops outside the top 5. Caden Unji up into the top 3 there still. He's doing pretty darn good in that number 12 Chevrolet. And then you got the Pontiac for Wilkinson Motorsports. That's Sheridan, Jonathan Sheridan, in the 29 GTO there. 98, that is Hill, Matthew Hill, Matt for short. Montana Holyfield in 6th, Mark Walker in 7th. But in all reality, the reason why it's so convoluted for this championship title is because we've got such a large field of up-and-coming ARCA stars. And we needed so much room to facilitate that by breaking it down into the Alpha Delta division. There we go, new leader. That's the 89 of Wormington, yet to win a race here in the ARCA Series, looking pretty solid here. Gets by Santi Messi. We've seen Santi Messi get passed already here today, and then he rallies, fights back to get it in his possession. But for now, it looks like the 89 starting to build a bit of a gap here with that Dairy Queen 89 Toyota Camry. Lapped car, that is 85. Whoa, and the closing rate is not safe looking there. That 85 is a rolling roadblock at the moment. Yeah, Santi Messi's going to make the move here. Everyone goes around him. Tyler McCarroll just trying to soldier it home. And we might have to DQ him if he does not get up to the race pace here a little bit quicker. Yeah, he's about 2 seconds off the pace, which is not necessarily enough for a disqualification yet. So Wormington up front lead now. Fastest lap in the race also goes to Mr. Wormington. 49 laps to go. Those of you just now tune in, as I mentioned, we will throw a comp caution if we make it to halfway without a on-cause caution, so that these ARCA cars do not have to pit on the last lap of the race. That is kind of the fuel window here today. 100 miles is the distance they can go. And we'll try to throw a comp caution at the halfway point so that they don't have to start pitting on the last lap, and we actually have a race decided by a race rather than shenanigans, strategies, and fuel mileage. Look at that, Caden Unji getting up to second here. Good move on the 12 machine for Reemergence Racing. Team owner Tasha Wright must be proud to see that number 12 machine running so strong here tonight at Texas. Next week, it'll be a home track for them in Michigan in Reemergence Racing. Tasha Wright and the Courting brothers, they will be looking forward to try and taking a victory on home soil next week in Michigan. Cars trying to close the gap on the 89 here. Starting to reel in the leader. Wormington, that Dairy Queen machine is looking stout, but closing the gap is the Mountain Dew Chevrolet. Number 12 of Caden Unji. You got Mountain Dew and Skittles fighting the Dairy Queen car. What a crazy concoction on the racetrack. Ice cream, soda, and sugar. But really, sugar, and sugar, your top three. One that kind of throws it off is the Wrangler Jeans car, and fourth there, the Pontiac of Jonathan Sheridan. He's not letting them all get too far away here. He's going to try to reel them in, lasso them in with the Wrangler machine. Good run here for Unji. He's going to try to get a little bit closer to the back bumper of that 89. Those two drivers both winless in their careers, Sigma ARCA style. Whoa, where in the heck did this run come from for the number 5 of Santi Messi? He had quite the charge there, kind of let up a little bit, but it looked like he was kind of shot out of a cannon there for a minute. Unji's got to run down the front stretch. Well, Santi Messi gets back up to second here. Caden Unji falls back into third. As we're at 41 laps left to go here in Texas. Back after leading quite a good stint. Look at the lines, the variation in race lines that they're taking. Kind of see the ebb and the flow. The 5 had a good run there. Now he's under attack by the 12 of Caden Unji. Closes the door on the number 12 machine, and here he is trying to reel in Wormington once again. 4-car breakaway as we are reaching the halfway point here. As I mentioned, a comp caution will come if we don't see a caution up until the halfway point. Since the fuel window is so tense, we don't want to risk that again. We've seen too many races in with pit stops with 1 lap to go here in the ARCA series. So tonight, kind of learned from our mistakes, and we're going to adjust accordingly. They come across the line here, it'll be that comp caution. So first caution of the night will be at halfway here. This will give us kind of a nice, neat little benchmark to reset, recoup, and see how the drivers fare with a restart here tonight in Texas. Go ahead and drop the pace lap by 1. Ooh, engine damage from the 58. So the 1 pit stop here tonight under this caution. Highly doubt, extremely doubt that there's going to be anyone that decides to stay out. If they do, they are mentally insane. And that car's a lap down, so that does not count. So everyone is pitting, and everyone will definitely have enough fuel to the finish here tonight. Wormington, your race leader. If you look at the laps led here tonight, Wormington at 19 laps led, Santi Messi at 12. Montana Holyfield has led 2. That's all your race leaders here tonight. 3 different leaders within the first 34 laps of the race. And we're going to see who gets the advantage coming off pit road. It looks like it's going to be that number 1 pit stall for Santi Messi. Secures him back to the lead. Wormington should not be your leader, so I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Yep, Santi Messi, your race leader. Second, it's going to be Wormington. Third place, Matthew Hill. Fourth place, Jonathan Sheridan. Then it's 5th place, Mitchell Carter. 6th place, Mark Walker. Wow, Jeremiah Pate the big gainer from 22nd up to 7th. We'll see how he fares on the restart. Cade Nunji, the biggest loser on the pit stop, falls from 3rd all the way back to 8th. You have Hank Scorpio, Philip Manning, Sarah Robert, Montana Holyfield also dropped backwards. Paul Valenzuela, Alex Prime, Miko Kunez, Taylor Cording, Dale Bush, Blake Williams, Steve Miller, Barry Yerwall, Matthew Hubert, Jimmy West, Astro Atlas, Jeff Bolton, Kyle Chestnut, Chasey Plays, Cassie Perkins, Milano Grimm, Timothy Buchanan, Lenora Hathaway, Derek Hipcamp, Daniel Boyles, Sebastian Galloway Jr., Marcus Shields. Kelly, you're 2nd in the points. He's going to have to come all the way from the tail end of the field here. Kyle Ottawa and Tyler McCarroll. So make your picks, folks. Get settled in, and half of the race down. Just a little under half the race left to go. We will not see any fuel mileage shenanigans here tonight like we had recently at Atlanta and even Daytona for that matter. Drivers have what they've got. We'll see who's got the best. High probability that we could see a brand new winner here tonight, but Santi Messi could definitely spoil that for all these newcomers want to taste victory for the first time. Santi Messi already a 2-time winner in the ARCA series, and we're off and rolling here on lap 37. Side by side, they go roaring into turn 1, 2 by 2 all the way through the field. Good advantage there for Santi Messi, as he's also got Matthew Hill right behind him. That's the 98. And then Mitchell Carter in the number 8. Oh, they're going 3 wide for 2nd place. Hill keeps 2nd, though, even though it looked kind of dicey. Matthew Hill on the attack. He's trying to close the gap up on Santi Messi. And so our caution's going to breed cautions here tonight. We've seen that in the ARCA series time and time before. And could be a tale older than time that it continues on here tonight. We'll see. A good sign for your race leader is that they've got single filed out behind him there, and that could help mitigate any wrecks or cautions that could unfold here tonight. The longer they run single file, the less dangerous it'll be to get that unexpected caution here late in the race. Matthew Hill now having to defend 2nd. That's Wormy Wormington, who has led quite a bit of laps here tonight. He's just trying to rebound and get back to the front. As it sits right now, Wormy Wormington led most at 21. Santi Messi trying to catch that. He's at 15. So Santi Messi very much will likely catch that tally if he stays up front here defending those behind him. Good run from Matthew Hill. Look at, he's closed the gap. Santi Messi is in trouble. That 98 looks stout. Here he is coming across the start finish line on the attack. And the 8, there is Carter. Mitchell Carter showing up to play. Paul Valenzuela in the 49. Matthew Hill almost had a shot at the lead, but loses it last minute there. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, ebb and flow. We are seeing it here tonight at Texas. You get a good run, you catch the leader, but you get side by side and lose that leader. So the ebb and the flow, good advantage when you're drafting behind someone, but if you get alongside of them, it's a whole different story after that. I mean, just look at Montana Holyfield. She was having a great go until she got side by side and then started dropping like a rock. She is still nowhere in the top 10, so it's been a rough fall off for the 24 team. Her dad, Snake Pliskin, hoping that that 24 gets up front and fights for wins. She had a good start here tonight, but alas, has dropped outside the top 15, back to 20th. Dale Busch, race winner in his first ever career start. He's trying to back that up with another top 15, top 10 run here tonight. Alex Prime in the 18, Mark Walker, Astro Atlas, Jonathan Sheridan, Sarah Robert, and Miko Kunez. But they're all chasing Santi Messi with just 22 laps left to go. Well, we are down to just 12 of shakeups in the ARCA points tally. And from 53rd in the points, Santi Messi looking to try and bounce all the way up the list to relevance here for the championship. 10 laps to go. Drama, no threat. Santi Messi just wants to see this race stay green all the way now, as it's his race to lose. Without a caution, he should be able to seal the deal. Alrighty, getting down to the end of it here. It's been a pretty quick one here. The SIGMA ARCA Alpha division here in Texas. The Wild West 100. It's about to be in the books, and it'll be a driver that's familiar to victory lane here in the ARCA series. Santi Messi looking to add another win to his tally. Have a field of drivers without a win. It's crazy that we get a driver that's already won before coming back here and winning again. We saw it earlier this year. The other driver that had not yet, or the only other driver with a win in the ARCA series, which was Joseph Hayes, also was victorious this season so far. So veteran presence is to not be undermined, because there's definitely some skills and expertise out there on the racetrack, and they are able to convert it to success. Santi Messi and Joseph Hayes, looks like they're both going to have at least another win to their name this season, keeping a lot of those winless drivers at bay. Fastest lap went to Wormington, and he led a good chunk of this race, but was not loop and reconnect. I don't know why I have to lose connection to the internet so frequently anymore. It's become quite normal, but it's quick to fix itself. Couple laps left to go here for Santi Messi. This has been vintage Santi Messi form. What we would expect to see from him fighting for wins week in, week out. Here we have him coming around for lap 66 of 67, and he's pulling down pit road. What in the world? We did this to avoid that. So Santi Messi not able to finish the race. For whatever reason, pits on the last lap. I thought we would have fixed that by now. ARCA. It's ARCA to a T. Matthew Hill with a Mickey Mouse victory. Not today. It's going to be Miko Kunez. I don't know, folks. I don't know at all what in the world to do any differently. We threw the caution to try and eliminate this from happening, and it happens yet again. Miko Kunez, your ARCA Alpha division race winner here tonight. Yeah, Ferrari pit strategies. It's got to be something with the strategies. We're racing past lap 67. I don't know why we're racing one more lap here even. The race is over, guys. The race is super over. Stop racing. Yeah, so Miko Kunez wins the race. Paul Valenzuela second. Astro Atlas third. Yeah, and that's all she wrote. The one lap led by your race leader here at Texas. This is vintage ARCA at its finest. Alrighty, folks. Well, we already know that the second half is not going to be this wonky here tonight. Honestly, I feel like something needs to be fixed with this ARCA series. These late race pit stops with 1 lap to go is not realistic at all. So the game is giving us a hard time getting these races figured out. Series continues to throw us the weirdest of curveballs week in and week out. So So hopefully we can figure out a solution to this so we're not constantly having to cover up for the driver that pits with 1 lap to go. But nonetheless, your race winner here tonight, Miko Kunez, taking home the win. And for everyone else that had a top 5 finish, whereas they may have not had one. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here tonight, and then I'll get on to the next one, folks. So stay tuned. We'll get rolling into the Bridge to Cup race.